This video is going to explain how to find electrical system troubleshooting information for international trucks. So you kind of have to think of this as what part of the system are we trying to find information for. If you're trying to find electrical information relating to the engine itself, then you're going to go through the engine manuals and the engine diagnostic manuals. The engine wiring itself is found in the engine manuals. Anything associated with the chassis wiring, the body controller, the gauge cluster, anything outside of the engine is going to be found somewhere else. So there are two places you're going to go for the circuit diagrams and the troubleshooting. One is the circuit diagram manual, which is going to give you the circuit diagrams themselves, but not actually explain how anything works. The troubleshooting guide, or the electrical system troubleshooting guide, is what's going to explain to you how the system works and how all the circuits and functions work. And the third resource, which is very nicely laid out, is called the Bodybuilder website. There's a Bodybuilder reference guide for the truck that's going to explain a lot of features in a very nicely laid out way. So in my favorites, I have put a couple shortcuts here. So the electrical circuit diagrams for the Durastar, Workstar, and Transstar, built after May 17th, 2010, and the electrical system troubleshooting guide also for these models built after May 2010. Prior to 2010, International changed the wiring a lot. So what you're going to find is there's a lot of circuit diagrams for those trucks, and you actually have to refer to your build date to get the right one. If you get the wrong one, you're going to find the wiring numbers don't correspond and things are a little confusing. So what you would do in that case is put your VIN number in, and you're going to go ahead and look at when your truck was built. And once you do that, you're going to go look for the circuit diagram. So in this case, we'll just use this as an example. I'm going to go ahead and grab my build date by punching in the VIN number. So here under the summary tab, I can see that this truck was obviously built in 2016, but this is where the build date is. I would document the build date and then go into master service information, and I would just go to circuit diagrams, and I could narrow it down to the model. Let's just say Workstar or 7000 series. And by doing that, you can see all of the build date ranges here. So you have to select the right one. We have a 2004 to 2005. We have a 2005 to 2007, 2007 to 2008. So it's really important that you consult that build date and get the correct manual this way. Once you've done that, the circuit diagram manuals, again, you have the option of PDF or viewer. They're quite nicely laid out. You can see what every single connector on the diagram looks like because the connectors are numbered. So if I go find a connector number, for example, this connector here, my warning lights, 1555, I can go down to connector composites and I can find 1555, and it's going to tell me or show me what that looks like, and often tell me where it is on the truck. So if I go ahead and zoom in here, 1555. So here's my warning light connector, what it looks like. Doesn't tell me where it's located, but in some cases, like this 1600, it tells me that it's inside the cab. That's the body controller connector, or one of them. So really good to find components on the truck. The connectors are hard to locate if you're not sure where they are. So that's your circuit diagram manual. The troubleshooting guide, if we have a quick look at the troubleshooting guide, we're going to go shortcut through favorites here, electrical system troubleshooting guide. We're pulling up a PDF this time. So the troubleshooting guide talks about all the features that the truck has and leaves the engine out because the engine is part of the engine manuals. So depending what we're looking at, if we wanted to look at cab features or multiplexing specifically, it's going to talk about that system. It won't really give me any great circuit diagrams in here. Sometimes you'll get smaller ones, but you kind of have to use the troubleshooting guide and the circuit diagram manuals together, even though they're separate resources. So that's how you find the circuit diagram and the troubleshooting guide for a particular truck. The bodybuilder website, which is a really nice resource, can be found externally. It's an external website, so you can just open an internet tab, and you can go ahead and search using your favorite search engine, and just say Navistar bodybuilder, because you will get some things you don't necessarily want to look at if you just search bodybuilder. So Navistar bodybuilder, here it is, the bodybuilder.navistar.com. And if I go there, this is available anywhere. You don't need a password. The most handy resource I've found here is the bodybuilder electrical guide post 2007 high performance vehicle. So if I go in there, this is a lot of the contents from the troubleshooting guide are in here, but they lay this out really nicely because this is intended for the bodybuilder. So anytime you're looking for some information on remote power modules, how they work, PTOs, gauges, remote air solenoid modules, a lot of things on the chassis of the truck are located here and laid out in a very nice way. So that's another resource that you should know about.